Hello, in this video we're going to see the observer design pattern. Um I made a video about implementing this design pattern, but it was using only events. But in this case, I'm going to use only I'm going to use interfaces to implement this example. It consists in a sensor that detects the, the number of people inside a room, and this sensor is going to control these observers, a TV device and a coffee machine. These two devices are going to observe this sensor, and according to what happened here, they are going to be turned on or turned off. Okay, they are they are going to be under the control of the sensor. In the case of the event example, there is only one event that is going to happen, and the observers are going to execute only one method. But in this case, when we use interfaces, we are going to be able to use three methods. Okay, and according to the situation, one of those methods are going to be executed. And in addition, there is a connection between the observers and the observable. In this case, it is sensor. So it's possible to identify, select, or remove a specific element because there is that connection between them. So let's start analyzing the first element. This is the interface iDevice. It has two methods, turn on and turn off. Next, there is a class called device. It inherits or implements the iDevice interface, and it has a property called name that is the name of the device. It has a constructor that receives the name of the device and assign it to the property. And the implementation of the turn on method, in this case, it sends a message turning on and the name of the device, and turn off, that sends another message with the name of the device. The next element is the sensor class that inherits from device, and this is the interface that is part of the .NET Core library. This is the observable interface that makes this class the observable element, and all the observers are going to be connected to this observable. This is the int value, the int type that is going to be used to implement a specific method. Is the next. In this case, okay, we have a list of subscriptions. It is going to store the list of observers for this observable, and this list is going to be have subscription objects. the sensor constructor receives the name of the sensor, and it is going to pass that name to the parent class. In this case, it's device, and it is going to establish the name of the device. Okay, we have here a subscribe method that receive observer of int, and it creates a new subscription object that receives the observer and the class, in this case the class sensor. It stores that information, and in the subscriptions it adds that subscription object. So we are going to have a list of subscriptions in this object, and in this way we are going to have a connection between the observable and all the observers. Okay, in this case it is going to return the subscription, and let's see this method. This is on people arrive. It happens when a person, people arrive to the room, and in this case it receives the name of people. It's going to write a message with the name of people, and this is the name of the amount of people, and this message, and it iterates or analyze all the subscriptions, and for all the observers is going to call the onNext method. This onNext method is a implementation of the observer class. In other words, if a person or people, or one person or more, arrives to the room, is going to send signals or message to all the subscriptions, all the observers, and they are going to execute this method. This is the stop method that is going to turn off the sensor, and when the sensor is going to be stopped, it's going to send messages to all the subscriptions, and it is going to say, hey, execute this onComplete method. So in this case we have two different methods: the onNext when people arrive, and the onComplete when the sensor is stopped or turned off. In this case, so we have two different behaviors. And this is another method, another behavior, and it happens when an error in the system is produced. In this case, we turn off the device, and we for all the servers we execute the OnError method, and in this case we have to send an exception object. in this case, I'm sending this message: something went wrong in the system. Okay, now there is another class. This is the subscription class. It has an ID disposable, and it is going to remove the subscription from the list of subscription. It has iObserver and a sensor. Okay, this is a match between the observer and a specific sensor. This is the observer parameter and the sensor, and it is going to assign those two values to the properties. Then we see the TB device that inherits from device, and this is the second interface for observer. This is of int. In this case, we're going to create a connection between the observer and the observable. In this case, the observable is this, and we're going to have that connection between observable and observer. Public, this is the constructor that is going to send the name of the device to the parent class, in this case to device. And OnCompleted, this is the first implementation of the iObserver interface that is going to turn off this device. The second implementation is OnError, that is going to receive the section. We saw that section here. Okay, and the next, that is going to receive the value of the number of people that is getting in the room, and is going to turn on all the devices. Now it's going to turn on only this device, in this case the TV. The next one is a coffee machine that inherits from device. This is another observer of int with a constructor that sends the name of the device to the parent class, and we have the same methods. OnCompleted is going to turn off. The OnError, it receives the section error, and it's going to restart in this case. Okay, but it should be, let's see, turning off. So let's modify this here. Error. Okay, turning off name because this error. I'm going to write the error. On next, okay, it's going to receive the number of the number of people. It's going to turn on the device, and it's going to send a message: preparing coffee for the number of people and people. Okay, now I'm going to create a sensor, and I'm going to create a TV. This new TV, I have to set the name TV1, and I'm going to subscribe this TV to the sensor. So I'm going to say sensor subscribe, and I'm going to send the TV. When I do this, I put, let's go to subscribe, I create a subscription object with the observer and the sensor class. This is a match, and it is going to store the subscription to the subscription list. So in this way we have a relation between the observable and the observer. It is going to be in this list. Now I'm going to create a coffee machine. This is new coffee machine. The name would be coffee 1, and I'm going to subscribe in the same way the coffee machine. I'm going to remove this, and let's see what happened. Save. Okay, this is Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to build using the command .NET build. In this case, we're going to compile the project. Okay, was compiled, and now let's execute. Sorry, using .NET run command. Okay. Okay. Let me verify something here. Okay, I have to get into the console folder. And going to execute .NET run. Now let's see what happened. Nothing happened. And the reason is, let me see, it's because we have to do something here. No, we need to call on people arrive. Now, how many people are going to arrive? There are 3. Okay, so yeah, we have the coffee machine, we have the TV subscribe to the sensor, and when people arrive, the sensor is going to detect those 3 people, and it is going to send the order to start the TV and the coffee machine. Now let's compile again, and let's run this app again. So let's see the output. Okay, 3 people are in the room. Okay, it detects 3 people, turning on the TV and turning on the coffee one, and the coffee machine is going to prepare coffee for 3 people. Okay, it works. Okay, now what happened in this case? We are going to executing this next method for each device, in this case the coffee machine and the TV. You can see the next here and here. Okay, now I'm going to reproduce an error in the sensor. Okay, sensor error. Okay, and let's see what's going to happen when an error happens in the system. Then run, and as you can see, all the things happens, and as you can see, it is turning off the TV1, and it is showing the error because something went wrong in the system. In this case, it is executing this method. Okay, we executed this first, and now it is executing. And the reason is because I'm calling the sensor method error that is here. Okay, something happened in the sensor, and the sensor is going to move through all the subscriptions, and it's going to call the OnError method. Okay, let's return here, and okay, now this last step, sensor is going to be a stop. Let's suppose that the sensor is controlled by a specific or general system, and it's going to receive a signal that is going to stop the sensor. So I'm going to remove this error here, and it is going to generate something. It's going to turn off all the devices, but in this case it's not going to show this message because it is going to execute the OnComplete method. Okay, if we go to the sensor, okay, this is the method stop. It's going to turn off itself, and it's going to move through all the subscriptions, and it is going to execute the OnComplete method. So in this case, let's execute this first. I'm going to compile and to run this again, and as you can see, this is the message for the device, for the sensor: turning off sensor 1, turning off TV1, and turning off coffee 1. This is a complete different behavior. Okay, so we have three different methods for all the observers. Okay, and well, that's all for now, and thank you very much.